Good morning, Interwebs. It is like 11:40 on Thursday. Wednesday. Today's Wednesday. Do you hear that lovely sound? Yeah, that's the wind. It is incredibly windy today. Like, I was laying in bed this morning, and our bed, we had built the platform ourselves, and it's like raised, and my bed was shaking because the house is shaking because the wind is so strong. It's a little ridiculous, but I hear that it should be like passing at some point. I don't know when. So, just getting my day going. I'm up, all dressed, wearing my my first decadent Frenchy hat. The pattern is now up in Peachlet's pattern pile on Patreon. For those of you that are interested, I got to pluck my reading shawl from the floor. So my floor is now just a floor again, and I'm drying out the towels so that I can maybe block a few other things that I have, because boy, did blocking make a difference. Like, not that it was bad before, but it's amazing now. So I'm gonna go and do some things with my kids and drink my coffee, and then we'll see what the rest of my day brings. Hopefully I'll do some reading today and film something today, and we might go run some errands today, because all of a sudden, it's amazing when you bake the amount we've been baking, you all of a sudden run out of all the baking things, you know, like baking powder. So we need some of that, and we need dog food. That's the real reason we need to go shopping, is that we need dog food, because, you know, Kuma gets a little hungry, and he's not so fun to be around when he's hungry. So we need to make that happen here in the next day or two. All right, off to make my day happen and try not to go nuts with the wind. I might actually listen to an audiobook, because then I could put headphones in and not hear it. Because it's every room of the house. Every single room. Very windy. So I thought I would share with you an interesting part of the Kendra creative process that I don't think I've shared before. So I spend plenty of my time like sitting on my butt crocheting, right? Like, that's a thing that I do. But a thing that happens to me sometimes, especially in like the design process, is I will reach a point where I can't sit down. So I like walk over here, and I had set my stuff on the ironing board so that I could go and refill my coffee and have a little thing to eat. I had a leftover popover from last night. Real good. Because I hadn't had any breakfast yet. So I come back in here, and I had been sitting in my chair, which I had cleaned off. So it's like right there. But I wrote the next line out nicely in my notebook, because I'm transferring it from one transcription to another into nicer handwriting now that I, know what I'm doing a little bit more. And I start to kind of work it out to make sure that I've written it down correctly. And then I realize that I'm standing over here, and now I'm just crocheting away, standing at the ironing board, because I can't stop long enough to be bothered to go sit down, because I can't stop. Which I tend to find is a good sign. If I am in a project to the point where like I can't even change location, that means that things are either going in the right direction, or that it's having the proper quality that I like in a crochet project, which is kind of an all-consuming, like, must do this thing. And so that is why I am standing here by the door crocheting, but I have a perfectly nice, perfectly comfortable chair over there. And I realized that I should just tell you that. Do you ever do this? I also find at craft shows, I would crochet in my booth, but I tended to like to stand up in my booth mostly, because I think it's more engaging, if I can. Sometimes I've been to a couple where I had some issues where I needed to be sitting, but otherwise I usually try and stand up a bunch. And so I will crochet standing up, and people just think it's amazing, which I don't find it that much different than crocheting sitting down, to be honest. I mean, obviously it depends on the item. Like, this is getting to be big and heavy, so it's nice that I'm standing in front of the ironing board, so the ironing board is like taking all that weight. I couldn't walk around and do this, or it would mess with my tension, but the weight of the item is being absorbed so that I can work on it furiously. Not furiously in a bad way, furiously in a good way. I think I'm going to be able to pump this one out pretty quick, and that's exciting. But I also don't know if my yarn's going to hold out, so we'll see about that. that's what happens when I buy yarn for a project and then I let it sit too long. Sometimes some of that yarn gets eaten up by other things.